If you've ever tried to find a small flashlight to put on your keychain, well, there's a lot of options out there. So I went ahead and I simplified this to only 10, my top 10 keychain flashlights. So without delay, let's go ahead and get started. In order to make a top 10 list, we need some kind of criteria in which to judge the flashlights. The first thing is going to be size. I didn't want to go too big. You can theoretically keychain carry almost anything in theory, but that doesn't mean it's convenient or comfortable. And ideally, you want these lights to basically disappear until you need them. The biggest light I'm going to talk about is going to be the EDC15, but it's here because as a AA powered light, it's one of the smallest and also one of the most capable. Now, if it's not going to use a disposable battery like one of these two, it's going to need to have an easy to recharge functionality. So something like this is going to have a Type-C charging port, which most people have a Type-C cable running around. And so for that reason, it's still just as convenient as charging your cell phone. And then the other type that we have, which is unique to this particular light, is a Type A included in the lanyard spot. So basically just plug this into a computer or one of the charging bricks and it will charge. The last thing is I'm only looking for flashlights that are basically best in slot, meaning that there are others potentially that have similar functionality, but it either beats it on value, functionality, durability, or some other aspect. With that, let's take a look at that list. Now, since we've already introduced it, let's start with the EDC15. Now, this is the biggest light on the list, but it has a lot going for it. The first one is value. Value is very high, being that it's only a $17 flashlight. It comes with this diffuser, which I'm having trouble getting off, of course, and it has a honeycomb kind of lens. Now, this flashlight will take a variety of different fuels. It'll take a standard AA disposable, it'll take a rechargeable like this one, and it will also take, and this is the big thing, it'll take a 14500, which is a 3.7 volt battery. Now this has 3 modes, 1, 2, and 3, and it gonna give you either a long run time or pretty good output, up to 350 lumens with a standard AA. But here's the cool part. If I use one of these, which is a 3.7 volt battery, this one also has Type-C charging, I can get a maximum of over 700 lumens, or actually I think it's just at 700, which is quite a bit brighter than a standard AA. So it kind of puts it in a league of its own. Most flashlights of this design are not capable of using this fuel. And they're also more expensive. They don't come with the clip like this one does, and this one can also tail stand. So it's just a really good light. And yeah, not much more to say. Just an awesome piece, very, very budget friendly, and gonna be durable as heck. I mean, you can throw this around and it's not gonna take, well, it's gonna laugh at you because there's no buttons to be exposed. There's no plastic in any way on the outside. It's just a simple twist user interface. And yeah, you're good to go with this one. Now, basically very similar in design is the EDC01, except that this uses a AAA. So it's a lot smaller, but it does miss one thing. It can't use the 10440, which is the 3.7 volt variety of the AAA. That's the only real major difference. Of course, it's going to have lower outputs, but it has the same basic functionality. It has the clip, it has the diffuser included, and this one is only $12. So this has 3 modes again, 1, 2, and 3. And so you actually can get a variety of different outputs and run times depending on what you're looking for. It has mode memory, so it'll come in on whatever you leave it. Not much more to say. I mean, it basically has all the things we talked about with the EDC15. It's just a smaller form factor. Now, the next 3 flashlights we're actually going to treat together because they're all made by Olight and they all have the potential to be between $0 and $5. And I'll explain why, but let me first introduce the flashlights themselves. We have the Olight I3E. Now, this is a 90 lumen single output AAA powered flashlight. It is made in aluminum. It has a bunch of different patterns that you can get. This is the zombie green. My goodness, they have so many. They've been making this for years. It is IPX8 waterproof. It is very, very durable and very competent at just being a good flashlight for your keychain. The I1R2 Pro is an upgraded version of a very popular flashlight that now has Type-C charging. Now, it can come under different names. This is the I15 This year they have it called the i16, but it is still a Type-C charging. It has a cap that does not come off. It attaches by the key ring. And they come in a variety of different materials. So we have titanium here, we have aluminum, many different finishes and colors. And then the last one is the I Mini 2. Now I like this light a lot. It has a Type A charging setup, which basically just plug this directly into a power brick or into a charging port on a computer, and it will charge up in no time flat. Now this is a 50 lumen single output mode flashlight, and the way you access it is just simply pull it out, and it's just a magnet that attaches the two, so you can use it and then put it back in right away. But my favorite thing is probably just attaching it to my glasses and allowing me to use it hands-free. I really like the use of this light. This light is something probably most people need, and is very convenient, and like this one, is very user-friendly. So anyone can get and understand either of these, and they're just a little bit different. One is rechargeable, one is not, but actually pricing is not too bad. This is only about $15 base price. Now, as I said, they could be as low as $5. How does that work? Well, when you have an Olight sale, they usually have an item that they're going to include as a freebie, as it were. Now, what you can do is if you only want that freebie item, you just pay the shipping cost, which is really, really quite cool. So if you sign up for a new account during that time that they have a sale, you're going to be able to simply get the i3E for the $5 price. If you've already done that in the past, the next set of items that they'll have available, because usually it's the i3E or whatever else that they are including, you'll be able to access that. And a lot of times it's this light or this one. And it's because of that, I think, that these kind of take the cake against most other similar flashlights. They can just be offered for a much lower price. Now there's other benefits, of course, to signing up, but that's one of the biggest ones. You can get these flashlights for $5, and that makes it probably one of the cheapest, decent quality, IPX8 waterproof flashlights that you can find pretty much anywhere. Now, if the Olight isn't available for a discounted rate, this is the one I would actually pay money for. This is the Skilhunt EK1. So it works very similarly to the one that they have from Olight, except it is far smaller, but actually has a higher output. So it's 180 lumens, but it actually has more candela, it has more reach. And it has a 10 lumen low mode. So 10 lumen low, 180 lumen high. And as you can see, it is a little bit different in beam pattern. See, it's a little bit more focused than the other one. So I do really like these, and they have a little bit more of an advantage because of their size, and the second feature being that it can be available in both high CRI and cool white. So depending on which one you want, there's an option for you. And so I really, really like that. It's a great company, and I really like this light. I don't think enough people know about it, but it is highly, highly recommended. If you can't find one of the Olights for a $5 price, this is by far the best if you're just comparing one-to-one. Now, I don't think anyone expected me to get through this list without talking about the premier keychain flashlight, and that is RovyVon's series of Aurora lights. So there are just so many different varieties. It would be a whole video by itself if I were to run through all of them. But the two that I think you should consider right off the bat are either an A3 series or an A5, A6, or A8. And the difference is very minor between the three. It looks very similar to this. Let's start with the A3 though. This is an aluminum body, this is a hard coating, and it is fantastic. It has a domed optic and a maximum output of 650 lumens. And that's a lot for a light that weighs so little and is so tiny. Now these are really cool because not only are they good keychain flashlights, they have a great pocket clip that is reversible and has a magnetic attachment built in. So a really nice ability to be able to rotate it, use it hands-free in a bunch of different ways. And the A5, A8, and A6 all have a magnetic attachment on the tail if you want to do that as well. And this will actually come off. So it's kind of a nice little added bonus that is included in the box. Both of these will come with spare silicone covers for the Type-C ports. This is the premier light, in my opinion. This is the one that has all the bells and whistles. If you just want one light that can do it all, these are them. So the ones with the side lights have a strobe with a triple press. Obviously a whole press gives you the turbo. There's a slight more complicated user interface, but once you learn it, they are pretty consistent across the board. Now this one, which has clear body, this is the A5, this is a little bit less expensive, which is why it's the one I probably recommend the most. There is, however, a couple others that do something different, but let's go through the side emitters, okay? So you triple press and you will get access to a 30 lumen white, warm white light, and this is high CRI. So if you have the cool white here, you have warm white here, you have all the varieties. This will also go up to 70 lumens, and you can use that to illuminate basically anything. You can read from it. It's a really, really good option. And here's the other thing. It has red light on the side, another very useful function. And that light can also be strobe, which is going to be great if you're walking in the dark along the road. You need to put it behind you on your collar or whatever, so people can see you and not, plow into you. So I think that this is a great option. It also will work as a bike light in a pinch, but definitely a great light. Now the other varieties, like the A6 here, which is a slightly different emitter and design, are also really good options. This one has side emitters that include a UV light, so you'll be able to get that as well. And they have a clear body. There's just so many different options that you can go with, but as long as you're getting a RovyVon, you're going to be getting a premier light in this category. This light will also function very well just as an attachment in the pocket clip. And for that, it's hard not to recommend one of these. Now the last two on this list are going to look incredibly familiar, and that's why I wanted to introduce the RovyVon flashlights first. They have inspired a lot of different brands to make similar lights along the way, but RovyVon did it first, and they probably do it best. However, if that price feels a little bit high for you, and some of the variants like the A8 can be quite premium, this is a very, very, very good option at under 20 bucks. And I've actually gotten these, I think one of these was $11, believe it or not. So the aluminum version right here is the one I would recommend. This is the S15. And this also has a 650 lumen high mode, and it functions very similarly to the ones we have with RovyVon, but it has a rubber button instead of a steel button. It is a little bit larger as well. The pocket clip is not quite as good, but it is there. It doesn't come with a spare silicone cover, which the other one does, but it makes up for it by being so budget friendly. So if you just wanted to try something like this, this is a good way to do it. It's also a really good gift item. They also have ones with side lights. The only thing though is that it does have, once again, the high mode of 650 lumens, but when you click the side, sorry, not that one. When you click the side, 3 clicks, you get a cool white instead of warm white. So that's something to keep in mind, and it only has one output setting. You then have blinking white, you have UV built in, you have red, and here's the weird part, it actually has this as well, which is red and blue. And I don't recommend using that unless you want to get arrested for impersonating an officer, so don't do that. Okay, but still really, really good. And I think around $15, this is a hard one to pass up. It does have a built-in magnetic tail, but it is not strong enough, in my opinion, to hold it unless it is basically straight up and down. It's just enough to hold the light like this, but it will not hold it horizontal. Just keeping that in mind. I think these are still really good options, and at the price, it's really hard to say no. Now, obviously, there are a lot of keychain flashlights out there, and I couldn't fit them all on this list, so I will be leaving a master list down below in the description, and that will be continuing to update it as new models come out. So regardless of when you watch this, you'll be able to find them there, and so I hope that is helpful to you. If you think I'm missing one, let me know and I will add it to the list. Now, this video is actually part of a series of videos where we cover different categories of EDC gear. And if you want to see the others, there's a playlist right over here. As always, thank you for your time, and we'll talk again soon.